Hello and welcome to this new edition of Business Africa. In this issue, the debate of the CFA Franc continues. When will this reform take place? One wonders, especially with the revelation of the French finance minister. For Bruno Le Maire, France is open to an ambitious reform of the CFA Franc. Africa's freight market is well on course. The continent has seen a significant increase in demand this year compared to the same period in 2018. Gas exploitation, Mozambique announces a new stage in its ambitious project that will make it a leading exporter of liquefied natural gas. When will the reform of the CFA Franc take place? A question that has rekindled the debate after the recent appearance of the French finance minister. Bruno Le Maire declared on 11 October during the meeting of finance ministers and the heads of economic and monetary institutions of the 14 countries of the Franc zone that France is open to an ambitious reform of the CFA and the decision should only be taken by the member states of the Franc zone. We will delve on this with the view of an economist specialized in matters CFA Franc after the report by John David Mihamle and Philemon Bale.
France breaks the silence on the reforms of the Franc CFA. Bruno Le Maire, the French Minister of Economy, expressed his support for the reform of the franc currency last Friday in Paris at the end of a meeting with finance ministers and governors of member countries. The initiative must come from the member states of the franc zone. It is up to them to decide freely what they want as evolution, as transformation. What I can tell you is that the President of the Republic is ready for an ambitious reform of the Franc CFA. But I repeat, it is up to the member states of the franc zone to take the initiative, make proposals and measures on how they want it to go. Recent controversies had popped up surrounding the issue of the Franc CFA, but Bruno Le Maire tries to highlight the advantages of a common currency for all 15 member states. I would like to recall what the franc zone represents today and the advantages it represents for the member states. It enables all member states to work together, to show solidarity, to bring about greater convergence of economies. And we see that in the unstable world in which we are, it is the same for the Eurozone. Being together protects. However, it will take a unanimous decision-making process by the boards of the central banks of member states to finally adhere or let go of the currency.
We're talking about it with Desiree Avom, an economics teacher and international consultant. Hello, Avom, and welcome to Business Africa.
Hello, madam.
What do you think is preventing African countries in the franc zone from launching a reform when France is open to this?
There are conditions to be met. The first condition is even found in the statutes of the franc zone, which states that any reform and changes to the franc zone must require the unanimous approval of all the heads of state of the member countries of the franc zone. And this unanimity, looking at the statements of various heads of state, is far from being achieved. So that's really a problem. It appears that some heads of state are in favor and others are not. The second reason, also from a point of view, is the uncertainty regarding the expected consequences of a change in the franc zone. You know, for at least 40 to 50 years, we have been in this area and we have a number of advantages that are regularly advanced, including the stability of the financial system, which guarantees a number of privileges to the various players.
If there's a consensus among the heads of state, from your point of view, what do you think they will focus on?
In fact, there are several points on which the reform can focus. The first, from a point of view, is the question of the exchange rate regime. Some observers believe that this exchange rate regime is rigid and does not allow for necessary adjustments in the event of macroeconomic shocks. Therefore, perhaps a dose of flexibility should be introduced to allow governments, if necessary, to use the exchange rate as a monetary policy instrument. There are others who stigmatize the fact that foreign exchange reserves of the franc zone are housed in the French public treasury. So, a desired evolution would be to dislodge these foreign exchange reserves, to submit them, for example, to the European Central Bank, with which cooperation may be defined between the various central banks and the European Central Bank.
Could the announced advent of the echo likely precipitate the dissolution of the Franc zone and probably its disappearance?
Yes, it is possible when we look at the current evolution of integration in the West African Monetary Zone. We see that these countries are in the dynamic of the African Union, and therefore, to achieve this objective, it is extremely difficult given the monetary balkanization that Africa has experienced, and it is therefore difficult to impose a single currency on all African countries, at least in the short and medium term. Therefore, the African Union project plans to achieve this objective by defining what it calls integration zones, that is to say, the different zones in Central Africa, West Africa, and East Africa. From these regions, each region should be able to see the emergence of a currency that would be a regional currency managed by a regional central bank.
Thank you, Desiree Avom, for these explanations. Avom is an economics teacher and international consultant, online from the city of Shang in Western Cameroon.
I thank you. See you soon.
We take a slight break, and immediately afterwards we'll see Africa's air cargo performance over the last 6 months. I'll see you in a few minutes.